Babes, you don't always need to make it known that you are leaving or that you are removing yourself or even that you're rebuilding. And a lot of the times when we feel like we need to, that's simply coming from the ego for some which reason or another, which is really important for us to question ourselves to understand why. Why does my ego want to make it clear that I'm leaving? Why does my ego want to make it clear that I'm rebuilding? Why do I feel this need, right? And a lot of the times it comes from validation, the need for validation. However, there are other reasons why it's very subjective to all of us, and a lot of the times it is validation. So when we notice that we feel this need to exit loudly or make it clear or rebuild loudly, whatever that may be, we get to ask ourselves, is it really worth it? Or is it actually better for my nervous system and my psyche and the overall way that I'm feeling to just leave quietly, to just, okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna remove myself. I'm just gonna distance myself and focus on what actually matters to me. And most of the times, it is much better for us to just do our own thing away from what we have realized is not good for us. It doesn't feel good for us. It doesn't feel good for our energy. It doesn't feel good for our forward movement. So it's like, okay, cool, just silently, safely distance, right? And we do this through devotion to ourselves, devotion to our future, and devotion on what it is that we desire to create. Most of the times we stay in situations and in relationships, in communities, in dynamics that are not good for us for longer than what we need to because of fears that may come up with leaving. And the fact of the matter is, when we stay for longer than feels good, what we're actually doing is we're honoring the past that we're actually working so diligently on transcending. And the question that you get to ask yourself is, the way in which you're operating, is it honoring your past or is it honoring your future? And if it's honoring your past, then what you get to do is you get to shift that in a way that honors your future, and you get to work out what's better for this next iteration and this next chapter of your life. And like I said, you don't need to be loud about it. When we're loud about it, that's it. It's because we feel like we have something to prove, and the only person that you have to prove anything to is yourself. And once you show up for yourself and devote yourself and to your future every single day through micro habits, through micro boundaries, through micro wins, then you start to prove to yourself that, you know what, I can do this. You know what, I can move forward. You know what, I can create better for myself. And then once you do that, there's no need to prove yourself to anyone, and there's no need to gain validation from anyone because you're giving it to yourself. And a lot of the times when we're looking outside of ourselves for something, it's because we're not giving it to ourselves. So taking the time to self reflect and to understand where this need to get something from outside of ourselves is coming from is really, really important, because that enables us to get to know ourselves on a deeper level and why we operate in the way that we do. And it ultimately allows us to polish our mirror, our internal environment, and give ourselves everything that we're looking for outside of ourselves. Because ultimately, when we do that, what happens is life naturally reflects that back to us. Okay. So, yeah, choosing quiet growth and choosing devotion to self is beneficial for you. There is no lose-lose with it. When you commit yourself, to the betterment of yourself, to getting out of here, the mind, and getting into your heart where your soul is, life just becomes better and better and better. So when you're noticing that things are not feeling good, because this is the primary indication that things are out of alignment for you, what you get to do is you simply get to say, that doesn't work for me anymore. Doesn't work for me anymore. I'm choosing different. I'm choosing different for myself. I'm choosing different for my future. And there need be no explanation. You don't need to explain it to yourself. You don't need to explain it to anyone. It's just a case of, it just doesn't feel good. That's it. That's it. It's not, I'm choosing different because different feels better. That's just the way, right? So quietly allows us to really come back to ourselves and get to know ourselves without the noise of other people. And it's good to celebrate. It's good to celebrate our wins. It's good to celebrate what we're building. And if you feel a constant need to have to do that, ask yourself why. Where uh, is there, because there'll be a void inside somewhere or another, because you need that validation from other people. It's something that I've had to work through for my journey, because I wasn't giving the validation to myself, so I was seeking outside of myself. And then ultimately, through me doing that, I would get other people's projections and them telling me how to be and what to do, which ultimately veered me away from my own unique path, because I wasn't validating and trusting myself enough, and I was seeking for that outside of me. So, yeah, it's a journey. It's really a journey, and it's not a journey that you have to walk on your own. This is where community comes in. This is where peer support comes in. And this is why I've created what I have created within the wealth frequency shift. It's a whole ecosystem designed to support you raise your frequency so you can create everything in your life that you ever desire. Not just the external that you see and that you experience, but also the ultimately the way that you feel inside reflects on the way that you experience outside, not just materially, but in your relationships and in your communities, and in the safety and the security and the nourishment and the love that you receive from other people. And ultimately, when we are not receiving what it is that we desire from others, it's typically because we're not giving it to ourselves in some which way or another. We're abandoning ourselves, we're overextending ourselves, we're looking outside of ourselves for validation. And that's okay, that's no shame. We've all come from it in some which way or another. And the way in which we transcend is within community, is within support. Throughout this journey of creating everything in our lives that we desire, we go through certain initiations that we're not supposed to walk alone. We're supposed to join arms and link with one another. So this is what I've created within the wealth frequency shift. And within there, you get everything that you need to create everything that you want in your life, including a regenerative wealth business model that you can build around your personal brand, your own frequency, your own message. And if you feel called to explore more of my work, then you are so welcome. I'm going to put links below to the free portal that I've created, and also information on the wealth frequency shift itself. And you get to choose your tier, you get to choose your timeline, you get to choose the way in which you move, because we're all at different stages and different desires of the support it is that we desire. So yeah, if you're enjoying the free content that you're receiving on my YouTube and any other socials, and you want to go deeper with me to support you come back to the power and the trust within yourself, then the wealth frequency shift is the place for you. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next video. Mwah.